So, after yesterday's episode, I'm glad that Amphibia is going back a little bit more to the sort of mystifying. It also, scary's not the word necessarily, but what's a degree of horror that's below scary? I guess unnerving or unsettling, I suppose. Not in a bad way. Full disclosure, this episode was really good. But, yeah, I guess unsettling is probably the right word for it. Unsettling for one half, and also mystifying away in the other. But that's enough about that. Today's Thursday, and it's awesome. Happy Thursday, everybody. Yes, it's Thursday. So, without further ado, how about we get into this episode of Amphibia, which is A Night at the Inn, and Wally and Anne. Probably could have said that grammatically different in a way. But yes. So, first part, Night at the Inn. The Planner family is trying to go to the mountain pass to get out, to see if Anne can get out of the valley, but it's still frozen over. So, they can't really do anything. So they start heading home, but then Bessie, their transporter snail, gets trapped in I guess a snail. It's supposed to be a bear trap, but obviously it's for giant snails. So conveniently, there is the Dandelion Inn, which is a B&B, a bread and breakfast. So they go there and they meet these two really friendly horned bullfrogs. And, things are pretty good. But throughout the episode, it really centers around how Polly is still a tadpole. And so, technically she's still, too young to, do anything. And, Polly is trying to earn herself a little bit more independence. So at the end, here's an example of what I mean. The horned bullfrogs, up until, the twist at the end, says, we'll give you a deal, 4 rooms for the price of 1. And Hop Hop says, we'll only be needing 3, because, Polly will be sleeping in my room. And, obviously you get where this is going. But believe it or not, there's actually a room that's attached to a Hop Hop, so Polly's like, why don't I just sleep in there? And then Hop Hop's like, okay, but I'll leave the door open, and, other sorts of miscellaneous things to make a child understand to know that, they're safe. But when Polly finally goes to bed, she keeps hearing stuff like cracks, like creaking in the house, sounds everywhere. And it turns out that, these horned bullfrogs actually, they're basically cannibals, which is, again, the unsettling part. And they're basically trying to eat the Planner family. They were able to capture them because when they arrived, they made cookies. I think they were called slumber doodles. I think that's what they were called. It's play on snickerdoodles, but only, they knock you out. They put you to sleep, slumber. I think that's what, at least I think that's what it was. It was something doodles. I remember that part. Although it was funny because there was one scene where Hop Up's like, here, you can have my cookie. And then Pa's like, I don't want your pity cookie. So, yeah, that was actually that was funny. But, it's basically up to Polly to try and wake the family up and save the day, which they do. But through it all, Polly realizes that, as much as she wants independence, she understands that, she's still, a little too young to, do, that much. But, and that's a really good lesson for kids, see how they fare, for one instance, and, if they feel uncomfortable, you can go back to the way things were before. Nothing wrong with that at all. And the best part of this episode, I'm not kidding, is, before they leave, Anne sees, because, it's a bed and breakfast, they have plenty of supplies and big barrels of stuff, whatever. There are 2 big barrels of both baking soda and vinegar next to each other. And Anna's like, time to put all my chemistry knowledge to good use. So she destroys the Dandelion Inn via essentially child school project volcano thing. And it's awesome. I mean, for the probably two people who don't know this, when you combine acid and baking soda, specifically vinegar, you will get essentially an explosion. That's why, volcanoes are the way they are. But the thing of it is, large amounts of vinegar that will completely make basically the more of both ingredients you have, the bigger the explosion. And obviously in two giant, barrels, it'll make a gigantic explosion, and that's how they destroy the end. Hopefully, possibly that those horned bullfrogs as well, because cannibalism is bad. It's wrong on so many levels. Anyway, they get home, and Polly's like, listen, is it okay if I sleep in your bed tonight with you, Hop Hop? Because, again, it was a rather traumatizing, thing. So Polly gets into bed with Hop Hop, and then Anne springs up like, so this was really traumatic. You think I can stay in here with you? And then Polly's like, come on in, you crazy kids. So they all get into bed together, and Hop Hop's like, wow, Sprig, your feet are cold. And then Sprig's like, deal with it. I'm like, that's a fine way to end the episode. And I can totally relate. I have cold feet as well at night sometimes. Ladies, I want you to know that on the wedding day, I would never get cold feet. I'm just saying. Anyway, so we get to the second part, which is Wally and Anne. Now, while the Planner family is foraging for, food, mushrooms and, berries and such, Anne claims that she sees the quote-unquote Moss Man. One of them giant mythical creatures, has like tree branches for horns or whatever. So, obviously, it's one of those instances where, Anne tells everyone, but no one believes her. And to prove she's not crazy, she goes to, Wally, who also claims to have seen this creature, and so they go in searching for it. And, because one of the overarching, narratives of this story is, if you watch the first episode, you'll know that technically Wally was the first person who ran into Anne, and so, they haven't really been able, and, Wally ran away thinking that, Anne was going to eat him. So, as you can imagine, this is an episode where, they start to get along, they sort of see each other in a different light, in a good way, and so, it turns out that, they do find the Moss Man, and then Wally's like, I guess those stories were true after all. And then Anne's like, wait, you said you made it up? Yeah, I made it up. So, obviously they realize that it's real, but Wally basically did this so, because, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. Basically, Wally made it up, but Anne's like, I only did this because I didn't want people to associate me with you. Which basically hurts Wally's feelings, but, they apologize, and in the end, it turns out that, they know what they saw. And if people want to judge them for it, or, people want to make fun of them for it, let them. You do you. Unless, and that's also a really good lesson, In the end, you see what you see, or you do what you do, you hear what you hear, etc. And there's always going to be people who, they're going to be haters. They're going to doubt, what exactly, happened. But you shouldn't let that get you down. You should always, strive to move forward, believe what you believe, continue believing what you believe in, and, don't let the naysayers get you down. That's why I never let any haters of my Dallas Cowboys get me down either, because, Cowboys are awesome. We all know this. Man, it's been a while since I talked about the Cowboys on camera, isn't it? Although football season and training camp is coming, it's going to be awesome. So, yes, really good episode. Actually, as of right now, we are 75% of the way through the first season. We have a new episode tonight, and the final 4 episodes of the season will air next week. I am really, really, really excited for that. It should be really cool. And, again, I have to say I'm really happy that, I followed the series. And hopefully it won't be too long until season 2 arrives. I'm hoping not, because, at this point it's pretty obvious. I love talking about this show. This show is awesome. And yeah, that's all I have to say. And today is Thursday, and again, I haven't meaning to mention this as well. Since today is Thursday, we have a new episode of Hot Ones. It is Kumail Nanjiani, which I love Kumail Nanjiani. He won the very first episode of At Midnight. Oh yeah, I've seen all 600 episodes of At Midnight, and I seen it all. I've been through it all. I was there when Kumail Nanjiani won the very first episode. I was there when, At Midnight had its very first on-screen marriage proposal. I was there when the patriarchy was toppled, darn it. Yeah, that happened. I remember it all. So, if anyone ever doubts that I'm an At Midnight fan, well, trust me. I saw all 600 episodes. Never missed one. In fact, a part of me now regrets that I didn't start doing videos then, because, talking about At Midnight would have been an awesome, way to, awesome thing to do. Excuse me. So, yes, it is Kumail Nanjiani, and a little more about Kumail Nanjiani is, easily one of the best movies I saw in 2017 was a movie called The Big Sick, which he wrote. Did he direct? I think no, Judd Apatow directed it, but he also starred in, and it's actually it is actually based on, actually it is a true story. It's his real life story on how he met his wife, which, if you've never seen The Big Sick, I'll give you a brief synopsis. Kumail Nanjiani is, a comedian who at one night at an open mic runs into this one lady sort of heckler, and, they really, start to hit it off, and it's called The Big Sick because she actually gets so incredibly sick that she falls into a coma. And during this coma, Kumail Nanjiani runs into her parents, played by Ray Romano and Holly Hunter, which, great casting. And another subsequent plot of the overall narrative of this movie is Kumail Nanjiani's family. They're Pakistanis. They're from Pakistan. They're from Pakistan, so they believe in arranged marriage, and Kumail Nanjiani falling in love with this one white girl is essentially wrong. I mean, my stance. I always believe love is a beautiful thing, no matter what's going on. So, yeah, there you go. Although, literally one of the funniest lines in that movie is when Kumail Nanjiani says, what they refer to, what marriage is called in Pakistan? What arranged marriage is referred to in Pakistan? Marriage. That was actually one of the best lines of the movie. So, yes, The Big Sick is also a very good movie. So, yeah. Can't wait to see Kumail Nanjiani on Hot Ones. It should be awesome. Cannot wait. And that's about all I'm going to have to mention, because sadly there is no new chapter of One Piece this week. So I won't be able to, talk about a little bit about that tomorrow, which is a real shame too, because I mentioned this already. Last week was chapter 948, and provided that there would be no breaks for an entire year, which obviously was never going to happen, but say it didn't. A year is 52 weeks, so 948 plus 52. So literally by July 4th weekend of, 2020, we would get to chapter 1000. But obviously, since there is a break this week, it's not going to happen. So, theoretically, if there are no breaks from now on, it'll be the weekend of July 18th, 2020, when we get to chapter 1000. I think my math is correct on that. I don't know. But, I mean, there's going to be more breaks than just this one. In fact, full disclosure, I predict that we're going to have at least 9 more breaks, not including this one, between now and when we finally do get to chapter 1000. So, I predict we'll get to chapter 1000 at around October of 2020. Yeah, it's going to be kind of a long time. Although, if I do recall correctly, it was October of 1997 when One Piece first started publication. Or was it December? It was definitely around that time of year, October through December, in that area. So, I guess in a way it would be serendipitous. That'd be really cool. So, yes, that's all I have to say for right now. And there is something about One Piece I do want to get into, but there's still something I'm trying to work out, but you'll know what it is when you see it. But I don't want to give it away just yet. Like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button, follow me on the social media platforms. I am hopefully making this video for all of you guys who watch and enjoy today. I'm hoping you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care, and make good choices.